Welcome, friends, to the Soul Talk podcast, a show where we explore and uncover the path to the heart, amplifying your conscience. Join me as we meet incredible souls who are in this journey and learn from their experience and different methods that will make you vibrate your heart. Let's get into it. Hello, everyone. This is Monica Ramirez, the Warrior of Love, and thank you for being here with us in Soul Talk. And today we have a very special invite, someone that I admire personally, that I recommend every single friend that it is in the coaching business, healing, or in their entrepreneurs. I always recommend Tyson. And finally, we have him here, Tyson Sharpe. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation to Soul Talk, Tyson.
Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. Thanks for the invite. And it's good to be here. Look forward to definitely diving into some of the topics that can, add value to your audience, but also you're curious about. You've been, in my world for a while now, so might as well do a podcast interview.
Yes. Let me tell you a little bit who is Tyson, because it is very, very interesting. Tyson is the creator of a community online serving circle that maybe some of you already know him, and if not, you should. The tribe of the spiritual entrepreneurs who find creative, heartfelt ways to collaborate and grow with one each other. Since 2016, it has been a mission of him to help online spiritual entrepreneurs, coaches, healers to create their reach and engagement impact and income by helping them build their grow communities around their business. Tyson, let me tell you something about Tyson. Tyson, it is in Australia. So it is far away from our continent, and it's not about the distance because thank God now online we can communicate through the world, but the time, it is not the same. At what time do you sleep? That was one quick question.
Many people ask me, do you ever sleep? I do sleep. I do get a good 6 to 7 hours every night. Today it's 7 a.m. for this call, but my sleep is between 10 p.m., 6 a.m. That's generally my sleep time. I was up at 5 this morning, but I do manage to get some shut eye.
Wow, because I always see you that you're posting and you're writing and you're trying to connect people, and you're always one of the persons that more helpful. And not only that, you have even a podcast yourself, Awake Your Business podcast. That I imagine that it has to do exactly what you do in the serving circle, because you're always serving the entrepreneurs that they're trying to tell. But I don't want to say with my words. I prefer that you say with your words what it is, the serving circle.
Yeah, the serving circle, I started creating it because I realized a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs, a lot of entrepreneurs who have a mission to really heighten consciousness, were really starting to struggle with meeting ideal clients and key collaborators, especially if you're using social media and content creation, because it's becoming harder and harder for people to stand out and actually meet the people they need to meet. So I thought, if everyone's got a mission to heighten consciousness, why not help each other do that, and really help each other create, burst through that barrier that social media has of just being flooded. So we find really heartfelt and creative, resourceful ways to help each other grow online, whether it is get on each other's podcasts and share audiences, or whether it's organizing collaborations through service exchanges or joint ventures, referral partnerships, even just getting on the calls for accountability and support of your goals. There's so many ways in which we can all help each other. But one of the things I'm most impressed by within the serving circle is the energy in which we do it. Because a lot of people are part of business networking groups and other business groups, but so many comments of just the people who say the people in the serving circle, the people who have that energy that they want to be around, is so unique. And that's what I'm most impressed by. And of course, you're a part of that. You're sharing your energy into the group and doing what you can to be of service. And that's ultimately why the serving circle was created, and I think why it's been a success.
And something that I notice about the serving circle, and my point of view about being part of it, is that it's not about a group that is going to be trying to sell you a service and so forth, like any of the business groups.
Mhm.
Because I belong to many groups and I have get out of many of the groups because it's like, okay, if I ask a question, it have a cost.
Mhm.
And if I need support, it have a cost. So like, and I understand we all trying to survive and paying our light or paying our bills, the Zoom, etc. I understand that. But come on, if we're trying the serpent circle is the perfect name because you're the one that is actually keeping track, that doesn't become one of those groups that is only about sell, 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 sell. It's about serving each other and helping each other and hearing what we need.
Exactly. That's what it's about. I think you do need a balance. And it is true, if we're running businesses, there needs to be some commercial exchange. That's just the way in which business needs to run. And I believe that if you have something that can really benefit someone where they get 10 times the value of what they invest financially, then you're obligated to offer that to them, right? If someone's in a challenge, they're in a world of hurt, and you can help them, right? Give them that offer. I truly believe that the commercial exchange is what keeps our businesses alive. However, you don't want to go to the extreme of that's all it is. And that's when it starts to feel a bit icky, because then you're starting to get into the realm of you deeply feel that people aren't actually there to be of service. They're actually there to they're placing money, and they're placing the commercial exchange as priority, and therefore they just see people as numbers. They may enter a group, and they may be thinking, okay, how many potential clients are in here, and they just see people as potential clients rather than getting to know the person. And I think um, that's what separates us from all the other groups. Um, so although it is true, we do have our promotional period. People are able to share what they do and how they do it. I think there is a blend, and there needs to be the right fit that feels aligned for people. And this is what really feels aligned. They can share what they're all about. They can share their business, but it's not just about the commercial exchange. It's about getting to know the person. It's about understanding that we're all one. We do have that unity consciousness, but we love placing that first. If there's a commercial exchange as a byproduct of you showing up in spirit, then I think that's what's most aligned with the members, don't you think?
And one of the things that was very surprised and very beautiful that you did at one of the beginning when I just joined, you asked for, let's send some love to so and so, and everybody sent love for that person that was needing that support, because in the business that we are, the healers, coaches, etc., etc., it becomes a very lonely road.
Yeah.
It's hard to even to talk with other people, in fact, even in the same city where you are.
Mhm.
And sometimes we're trying to do and do and do for others when we are also needing that support with that friend that, hey, you're important, hey, I remember you, hey, thanks, or whatever, something that makes us continue going. And you bring that to the group for everybody, and for that I am very, very, very grateful for to you,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I have
pleasure.
received those messages, hey, I'm thinking of you, you're important, and I was like, oh, thank you.
Mhm. And it's been tough. I mean, to send heartfelt messages, and to send a love bomb, for example, where we message someone and send them love. It is a big shift for people. It's very, like you say, it's very easy for the people in the spiritual community to give love, but it's often more challenging to receive it.
Yeah.
And I've had some people message me and say, I was forced once receiving a love bomb, and I had, it might be 15, 20, 30 people, sometimes plus, send them all a personal message at the same time. It kind of, they were like, I was forced to receive a level of love that I've never had to receive before. And it's a huge breakthrough for them. And, just the impact that can create. Um, just is very profound. And I think this is the good part of being entrepreneur and being in a community like this. You start to really sense, where am I overdeveloped? Am I overdeveloped in my giving, or am I overdeveloped in my receiving? And where can I balance out so I can have more of a healthy energy of both, right?
Because one of the big things I've been asking myself, and I have asked other entrepreneurs, okay, why do you start your coaching business or your healer business or working with energy? And the majority was because we wanted to heal ourselves, because we
Mm-hmm.
were looking to give that love or attention to others that we did not receive.
Yeah.
So that's something that we have all in common in reality. And that's what we are receiving in your group, in the Serbian Circle. We're receiving that. So when you go into the Serbian Circle, yes, you can say, okay, I can collaborate with this, or I need this support, or I need that. But at the same time, the majority of the people, they are, you can become friends with many of them, and they're amazing people in there. And that's something that is you're not going to find in so many other groups.
Yeah, exactly. And so many people messaged me saying, "Oh my God, I met so and so, 3 or 4 years, and we still talk on the daily, that they found in the serving circle." It warms my heart to know that there were some really genuine connections that have been made and that they've been sustained over the years, because they generally feel like, they meet someone who's aligned with them. And I recognize that many people feel lonely on this journey, not only of entrepreneurship, but also the spiritual journey, where family and friends don't always understand what you're going through and how you explain things and how you see the world. And to be able to create a community where they feel at home
Mhm.
and they feel like they have this support and they share this like-minded energy, I think, that's invaluable for people. And that's probably why they invite their friends. The friends that they do
Yes.
resonate with is really, really powerful. So creating those connections that are sustainable and lead to real genuine friendships is probably, one of the best byproducts of being in the community.
And be able to ask for support and actually receive the support. And obviously, you're going to give the support to others, but receive that support like, hey, I just need likes in YouTube. I just need a VA who you recommend, or I need this, or I have these questions, or where do I publish my book, or whatever it is.
Mhm.
And this, that obviously, we cannot talk to our neighbors or our friends locally because they don't have a clue. I was trying to explain early to my husband what it was a funnel. And he was like, I don't get it. It's like, yeah, you're not into the marketing business or trying to
Mhm.
sell you a business online. Funnels doesn't make sense. But with entrepreneurs, heart-centered entrepreneurs, you can, hey, how about you give this and you give that, or you do this, and you're gonna have that feedback that sometimes not only to give to others, but it will help you to
Totally.
continue going in your business.
Yeah, yeah. And because, I mean, the serving circle's over 3,000 members now,
Mhm.
and we've got such a wide variety of skills and expertise. For you to be able to put something out there and say, hey, I need help with this, or I'm struggling with this, or this is a challenge of mine, or this is an outcome I want to achieve, and to overcome the fear of asking for help and actually put it out there, because we have a community of such high givers. You often get a lot of value by just asking for help and being specific about that. And you'll have so many people message you about their different, what they've learned, different tech they've come with. They'll connect you to other people. They'll give you the advice that they've learned over the years. I mean, I've been building funnels ever since I started, and most people have. They've used different platforms and used different VAs and all these different things. And they've such a wealth of experience and expertise is right at your fingertips by just asking the question of, hey, can I get some support here?
Yeah. Not only in the technical part, like we mentioned before, I wanted to really mark this that you can get the support in the emotional part that you're needing.
Mhm.
Simply to start when you start the serving circle, when we get together, at least in this continent, in Tuesdays, is with a meditation to
Mhm.
really center us and really find many answers. I have find many answers Like yesterday, I have that thing in my mind. Okay, I have to do a funnel for this and that, and I have my mind. I go to the meditation and oh, you have not created an event. Oh, I forgot. But it was to that meditation. It's like, oh, I forgot about this. And it's like,
Mm,
of course I have to do that. When sometimes we just stop in what we're doing and just make the time for
mhm,
ourselves to receive the answers that we're looking for. And
totally.
in our busy life, we don't do that.
Yeah, one of the things I found most impactful for not only the people in the serving circle but also my clients is sending them messages of just the reminders they always need, and they're always generally the same, aren't they? I'll send my clients a personal message just that just says, "Hey, breathe. Feel your energy in the ground. Take some time to notice what you're feeling, and then ask yourself the question of what resource is needed right now." I'll send that. I can send that message to all my clients just about every second day, and they'll be like, "Oh my god, that was so helpful." you know, it's just we're in our heads, and I recognize this. I think one of the blessings that I've realized early on in my journey is that your energy is everything. I mean, not only just in the spiritual sense, but also the energy of your resourcefulness. So what you bring to the table determines everything for you. And I know within myself, it's my first intent. I'll meditate before this call. I meditated on the couch for an hour. And I processed some heaviness that I woke up with without judgment, without avoidance, without any sort of resentment or anything. I just feel this heaviness. And then as soon as I breathe deep and I allow it to expand, it starts to dissipate. And then I can ask myself the question of, what's needed right now. And you just feel a lightness come over you. You feel a level of groundedness, whatever you feel is needed. And that's what we need in entrepreneurship. It can be a very tough challenge, and we're faced with ourselves every single day. And you're faced with money challenges. You're faced with building funnels. You're faced with networking. You're faced with putting out content and using the right language and all these different things. And you're forced every day to go within yourself, heal and purge these wounds and traumas and patterns, and then condition and strengthen inner resources of love, compassion, determination, playfulness, patience, these sort of things. And so when I remind my clients, I'm just like, hey, breathe deep, feel what you need to feel, right? Observe what's going on within you. And when you start to feel a little bit lighter, ask yourself what resource is needed. It's just, I recognize that so often in my journey. That's why I start the collaborative calls with that, because I'm like, people are going to be in their head, and they're throughout their day. I'm like, what better way to start a collaborative call than us getting to a place of resourcefulness, getting to a place of grounded, heartfelt energy where the answers are more readily available. And if you're not doing that in your business and in your life, no matter what you're doing, you can benefit so much from just placing that intention. I've just seen it time and time again.
Hi everyone, this is Monica Ramirez, the Warrior of Love. And if you have been feeling stuck where you are right now, or if you have felt that you cannot connect with others in the same language or the same emotions that you're feeling, if you're a coach, a healer, energy worker in any of those branches, maybe this is for you. Because we have felt the disconnection for the rest of our family, friends, that we cannot connect to them. And we're so afraid to actually go deep dive when we're getting triggered by our own clients because we're seeing our mirror image with them. My name is Monica Ramirez, the Warrior of Love, and that's my spiritual name. And I take clients from feeling confused and feeling stuck to feeling free, to feeling that they feel empowered from themselves. I created a system, Path to the Heart, that goes in 3 levels. And the first level, it is healing the inner child, healing the parts of us that we've been so afraid, or it's very painful to do it. I have done it myself, not only with me, and I have done it with many, many of my clients, that I take them to this process. The second level, it is to go more into inner self, clearing the family lineage, to breaking the contracts and vows, learning deeper more about the laws of the universe. And the third level, it is learning how to channel, how to do waking up your and getting online your gifts, your unique gifts that the world so much needs right now. So if you wanted to know more about this, I am eager to show you and to teach you all what I know that I use every day in my life. So thank you for being here in this page. I really appreciate it. And this is Monica Ramirez, the Warrior of Love.
That is so true. And not only that, that you have the serving circle, you're right now coaching at, you have your clients for yourself. That serving circle, I see that is a lot of work, but also your coaching, you have that as your own business, and you're a coach of Cristina Lopez, that I follow her, and I bet many of the viewers follow her too on YouTube and in her programs. And you're one of the coaches in Cristina Lopez. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Because that's fascinating.
Yeah, it's one of the crazy things about networking. I like to reach out to people that I'm inspired by and influencers and these sort of things, authors. I don't think there's any harm in reaching out to people that you admire and that may be 10, 15, 20 years your senior in business, in social media, in creating an audience. And obviously she's got a YouTube channel of 500,000 subscribers. But I reached out to her one day and just said, hey, like, love what you're doing. And she got back to me. You never know who's going to get back to you. She got back to me, and we started chatting, and I actually signed up for some of her one-on-one coaching help to help me really embody a balance between my masculine and feminine energy. At the time, a lot of it was towards my masculine and pretty much an overdeveloped masculine. But I had to learn to develop a bit more of my feminine energy in terms of creativity and flow and flexibility. So she helped me do that. But then as we became friends, she saw what I was doing with the serving circle, and she was impressed with the community and my management skills, and of course, how I run it. So she said, hey, I'm building an online course and an online community that goes with it. Would you want to be a head coach and really help people with these transformations? And it was a complete blessing, just to be able to be in her community and people going through her online courses, but to be of support as a head coach and just offer that guidance, or that or that support, the advice that's needed. It's been a real cool part of my life and of my business. And I think it just goes as an example of never feel like you can't reach out to someone because they're too big, too out there, too busy, whatever. Just I've had so many things in my networking realm where I just send messages to people that inspire me, and if people will get back to you, others won't, and that's cool. But things like this, will happen if you put yourself out there.
That is true. That's a good reminder, because that's a program that we have, that we're not good enough, that we're not worthy, and so forth. And that's why we don't do those kind of things. And that's something that we need to break, because in the other side, even if they are very busy, we are very busy at the same time, and we make time. And probably they can do also, they can make time to answer some of the messages or emails. Maybe not all, but maybe it's yours, the one that you're reading in that moment.
Yeah, totally. Even another one I was watching the Gaia platform, and this guy, Bill McKenna, he was on, I think 5 episodes at the time of just different interviews with Regina Meredith and George Norrie and these sort of people. And I just reached out to him. I looked up his name, looked up his website, looked up his work. He's got this modality called cogno movement. I'm like, I'm just going to reach out to him. He's probably busy. He's probably running his own business and doing a bunch of different things with all these bigger interviews. I'm like, I'll just reach out. I'll just say hi and just say, hey, I love this interview. Love, I'm learning a lot from what you're putting out there. Keep up the good work. He got back to me, and now I have him on WhatsApp, and we're good friends. We talk all the time. He sends me messages all the time for catch ups and everything. And I love giving him tips and advice with him building his business as well. But he's become a good friend, and he's such a kind, generous, heartfelt guy that you just never know what sort of responses you're going to get when you put things out like this. And I think if anyone's struggling to really get out there and build their network with influential people, just start doing that. I mean, I obviously learned, how to do it, and there is some strategy to it, but a lot of it's just taking the time to send those messages and do it from a genuine place.
That is true. I am curious, what happened in 2016? I know I should ask this question at the beginning, but well, I had too many questions that I had for you that I don't want to pass this one. What happened to you in 2016? So you wanted to start helping in this mission, helping
Yeah.
others.
Yeah, definitely. I was actually 2014 and 2015. I had finished my degree, and I have 2 degrees, a bachelor in psychology and a master's in organizational psychology and business management. And I had no clue what I wanted to do. I was very, very confused, very lost. I it was part of my life where I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna not think about what I want to do as a career. I'm just gonna travel. So I traveled to Canada, had an amazing time. But while I was there was just I think many people understand just this sort of aching need of just, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I don't have my mission, my purpose. I feel off track in that way. So anytime someone asks me, oh, what is it you want to do with your degrees? Like my heart would sink. I'm just like, I don't know. And it was really when I started getting to the world of personal development. I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to do anything. I'm just going to do anything to move me along. And I just started learning about personal development and, learning about the mind, learning about success. And that took me on a path that I will always be grateful for. It was just, I finally felt like I'm progressing towards something. Didn't know what it was, but I'm progressing towards something and I'm finding the answers. But then I came across the work of Tony Robbins. Love him or hate him, he's an incredible person who's very heartfelt and is he's mastered the ability to achieve. And so I followed him because I found out there was this thing called life coaching, and you can help, not only, you don't necessarily have to use the psychology to help people with mental disorders, but you can actually help people with everyday challenges, everyday people with everyday challenges. And I just felt this pull. I just felt this calling, this excitement. Now, to jump into the certification with Tony Robbins was, at the time for me, was half of everything I had in the bank. And when I was a poor traveling Australian, it was very, very uncertain, while I was in Canada, to invest that kind of money. Because if housing was uncertain or my job was uncertain, I could have been very, very, in a very desperate situation. But I followed my heart. I took that leap. I invested in the program, and I just loved it. I've never been more obsessed with something than that in my life. I was living in Banff, so I was living in the Rockies, beautiful, beautiful place. But I was like locked in my room, just learning and studying and just being obsessed with helping people create long-term change. I just found such a pull to it that in 2016, I moved back to Melbourne. I'm like, I have to start my own coaching business. I don't know exactly how to do it, what to do it. I was pretty naive, but I just decided I have to do this. I have to follow it. And that's really where, my coaching business started.
No, I do admire the master of NLP, Tony Robbins.
Mhm.
And I bet I believe he's one of the persons, not even the initiators that make NLP very famous. I have taken some classes with him. It is fascinating to take classes with him. But yes,
Yeah.
love him or hate him, I am one of the ones that love him.
Mhm.
He's a great person and a very amazing human being too.
Mhm. Yeah.
And my question, and that's when you started the serving circle. But I know it is, even if I know many people, many coaches and healers through the time that I've been doing this and I've been traveling with them and so forth, with Blue Talks and so forth. How do you get so many 3,000 people in the serving circle? Those are the ones that sign up in serving circle, not the ones that they interact with you.
Mhm.
That's a separate group.
Mhm.
How do you net so many people that they are entrepreneurs and they're running the business and so forth? How?
Yeah, it's a good question. I laid this out for people because I really want to help people build communities similar to the serving circle. And one thing that I realized earlier on in building a community, now it wasn't always the serving circle, I should say. It has evolved over the time. I can talk about that transition if you want. But to answer your question, that's top of mind right now, when people started building Facebook groups, a lot of people would just create a group, and then there was hundreds and thousands and millions of groups all starting at the same time, or just about, on Facebook. I realized that a lot of the business groups, the owners, the hosts of the groups, were focusing most around getting as many people in as possible. And I realized that in business, you have to zig when others zag. You have to almost do the opposite of what the mass are doing, so you stand out. And many people do that in many ways, but one way I did that was a bit more subtle. And while everyone was inviting everyone to their groups, I just about, not all, but I just about didn't invite anyone. I did not place my main attention on growing the group in terms of numbers. I placed my focus on adding value to the members that were already in there. That was my main focus. My main focus was on the existing members, adding more value to them rather than inviting everyone. Because I realized everyone's inviting everyone. They're just trying to grow their groups. And therefore, the group itself wasn't all that valuable. And many people fell into the trap of thinking, oh, if I invite 200, 500, 700 people, and I create some posts and they may like it, and then the group's going to blow up. It's not how it works, because everyone's doing that. And people need more than just posts that are okay, quote cards and some videos and these sort of things. So I recognize that. I put more focus on adding value to the existing members. And then over time, they not only was it was a lot more engaging than most groups, but people started inviting their friends. People started, because they got so much value in the group. Not only did they love engaging, but they invited more friends. And as a byproduct, my group started growing at a lot larger rate than those who were focusing purely on getting members in their group. So these are sort of the ways in which I encourage my clients to think, what are the masses doing? What can you do that's different? You have to be different. You have to stand out. You have to add value in ways that no one else is. That's just one way I did it and what my focus was towards. And I mean, obviously it's benefited in the long run.
And that's a very good tip for everybody to listen. What can you do different than the majority? Because at this point, I have taken so many classes of business, of marketing. And I believe the majority of the entrepreneurs, we have spent a lot of money in that area. And the first thing they tell you, oh, this is how you have to do this. And then after that, it goes step 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you're rich, or you have money, you know. and
Doesn't work
and
that
it's
way.
not true. It's not
It
true.
doesn't work that way. It is when it comes to business, it's true. That's the system that worked for them, probably. I would hope so.
But at this
Like that would
point, I
be the
don't think it
system.
works. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It definitely would be the one that worked for them. But if everyone's doing that,
Mhm.
it isn't necessarily, I mean, you can think there are up and coming trends that you can take advantage of. There are up and coming different strategies. Yes, I get that. But you really have to think, okay, what's unique? What's different? How do I add value that many people aren't getting? And things that light me up. There needs to be that blend of things that light you up, put you in your zone of genius, things that you love, along with adding value that's different than what everyone else is receiving. And so you can't necessarily follow this cookie cutter approach a lot of the time. Shouldn't say all the time, but a lot of the time, because if all the business coaches said, okay, this is how your funnel needs to look, this is what you need to say, how you need to say it, and this is how you get clients, and this is how you make money. If everyone's saying that, then the market changes. It's what's called market sophistication. The market changes, and how we market changes depending on the times. And if you're just following the market sophistication, you're very rarely stand out. An example of this is, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, if someone said to you, hey, this influencer is doing an online webinar, your mind would explode. You'd be like, what? Like, they're doing a webinar and you can just jump on and you can interact with them and you can walk through a class with them and they're just doing it online. Revolutionary. Nowadays, I'm getting messages every second day of someone saying, hey, I've got a webinar coming up. Right. And many people now know that a webinar is part of their sales funnel. Right. A masterclass, a challenge. Challenges only came about 5 years ago, 4 years ago, but now everyone's running challenges as part of their funnel, right? The market changes, the market sophistication changes, and you have to be on the wave of the market sophistication that the masses haven't reached yet, right? You have to sort of learn the strategies. That's why when I run things in the group, in the serving circle, even if it's not part of a promotion, even if it's not an upsell or anything like that, even if I'm just adding value, I know I can't run webinars. I'm not going to explain things like webinars or a challenge or anything like that, or a masterclass, because the market sophistication has changed.
Yeah.
So when I was running events, I would call it a group project. It would be a group project. At the start of the year, I ran a group project where I was teaching people how I build the serving circle. I didn't call it a webinar or a challenge. I called it a group project. That's what it was. People who are hosts of communities come together, and I'll teach them how I built the serving circle and how their communities can benefit. And more people joined than I think would have if I called it a masterclass or a funnel. I mean, a challenge of some kind. So we always have to be thinking, what's different? Group projects. I'm going to invite you to a group project. It's different, right? We're all going to work together and we're all going to do this as a group project. Different, So I always want my clients and serving circle members to really be on the edge of doing things that are different.
And you're so right. I have tried all of those, and at the beginning, you have some people that they went to the challenges or master classes or things like that, and they went, but it became so much from every single coach and healer and entrepreneur that people go for that, but they're just jumping from one to the other one because they're free.
Yeah.
So you're planning to sell a program of at least 12 weeks or more. You're not going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah.
Because these people are just jumping to the free one. So they're not even really to compromise in any program or with themselves. Because
Mm-hmm.
that's what we created. That's what all this marketing created. People that
Yeah.
they do not compromise to themselves. Forget about to the coaches or the healers, to themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of it comes down to your messaging as well, your communication. I walk people through this. I've got a complimentary course that people can take when they go to the serving circle, where I explain this. But your communication during these events is very, very important. If it's your intent to add value, but to also build demand and desire for your offer, then your communication needs to be very clear around that. And I find a lot of people are running these challenges or running these events, and they just think if I add enough value, then people will jump into my paid program. And sometimes that works. Most of the time, you just basically solve the challenge for them, and then they don't feel like they need extra help and support. And if that's true, then that's cool. But if you truly feel like your paid programs and your paid, your paid support is desperately needed by someone and can add value to their life that's 10 times the investment they come up with, then you need to have your communication uh, effective enough where someone feels called, someone feels pulled, and someone trusts to take that investment and to really take that leap with you. And your communication around that needs to be very clear, needs to be very compelling. And most people don't focus on that. They just focus on, oh, if I add value and I, say these nice things and I show my expertise and they'll jump in. It's not true. Your communication actually needs to be very, very clear. We actually build that demand and desire for what you have.
Talking about that, what is your opinion about the difference between ChatGPT, that is $20 a month, and a copywriter that it is between $500 to $1,000 a month?
I don't use it too often, to be honest. It's very, very valuable. I think this is the debate, and I know how powerful AI can be, and it does seem like it's a powerful resource at a reasonable price, at a very cheap price by the value that you get. I recognize that. I personally don't use it almost at all these days. I don't really use it these days. I probably could. I probably could and should use it more. I just don't. Not say I won't in the future, but I think when it comes to a resource like that, it's pretty much a no-brainer. You just want to make sure that you still have some heart in what you're doing. You want to make sure that the spirit's still there. You can use the AI tools to brainstorm ideas, to do your copywriting, to do all these different things. But if people don't feel the heart, then you've just basically got a bunch of AI scripted things online.
Yeah.
And it's that connection needs to be there. I mean, not all businesses are the same, but when it comes to coaching, healing practitioners, we need that connection with people. We need that support. We need that accountability. We need that heart to heart connection with someone that's authentic, it's genuine, and that often sometimes goes missing when you use AI tools to create everything for you.
But at the same time, the difference between $20 to $1,000, it is steep for the coaches because we're not making that much money.
Yeah, it is a no-brainer. But I do believe there are things that if you're a copywriter, sure, you're going to have to add a lot more value and find creative ways to promote yourself that is outside the value that people get with the tech and the AI tools. As coaches, I mean, I find that if you're a coach and you're adding value to people's lives, there's so much more you can do than tech. You know, you can't replace that heart to heart connection. You can't do that with AI. They can find a lot of answers doing that, but when it comes to a conversation and helping people overcome their own patterns, their own self-sabotage, to really help them install with support and accountability the changes that they want, you need someone else to help you. You need someone to uncover your blind spots and move forward consistently.
Yeah, I can say that too about I am an artist. As I've been doing it for, híjoles, right now for 45 years. And now you see the AI paintings everywhere, and everybody's using that, and it is great. But you can see that they're lacking that soul in this each piece.
Mm-hmm.
It can be great, but it doesn't have the human connection
Mm-hmm.
in those paintings. And I think it is changing. Our world is changing, and we can see it with all the automatizations that we're doing, and for the coaches that we are trying to automatize more. That we think that a click on a button is really going to transform our lives, but it's not. So the human connections and creating that connection heart to heart with someone is what is really going to create the change that we want, not the automatization want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what people really need. Things may change in the future. I don't know, when we become cyborgs. but for right now, you need that heart to heart. I'm not going to talk to an AI who's impersonating my mum and think, oh, that's the same as talking to her each week. It's like, you wouldn't feel that. You need that heart to heart human connection. You can't really get that with AI. And like you say, with the art, you don't feel the soul behind it. It's very cool. A lot of them it's remarkable what AI is able to do. And it's only going to expand, of course.
Yeah.
It's remarkable what they can do. But there's no soul there. And it's not that one is better than the other, but we still do need that soul. People still value that soul, right?
And I know there has been many changes. I like to, in my podcast, to at least my guest advice to give an advice to someone that can take home not only the conversation but some tips. And my question for you is: there have been many changes in social media for all the entrepreneurs, and continue changing. Forget about the algorithms and the way like just doing challenges and doing workshops and things like that. Just when using those words are not gonna bring you except crickets. So what do you advise to entrepreneur if they're just starting and they just wanted to know where to start? Do they pay the $10,000 business that they're gonna teach them about the challenges and those workshops that they're not gonna give them money, but they spend $10,000 on that? Or what do they do so they can start their business and become an entrepreneur because that's their dream?
Yeah. Look, in order of priorities, one, you need to focus on your own energy. Everything comes from you, your ideas, your execution, your own your ability to get things done, your ability to connect with people. All of it comes from your own energy, the version of you who's showing up, right? That's number one. You have to work through your own self-sabotage. You have to condition and strengthen your resourcefulness. That's a must, right? Because we all know people who will say the exact thing, they'll do the exact strategy, but for whatever reason, they'll either sabotage or it doesn't feel aligned. You can see in the video that someone's not walking the, they're not walking the talk. We can see that, we can feel it. So what matters most is your energy. What's next is your communication. What's next is working on your communication so that it's clear and compelling. Because if you can do any strategy, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, funnels, webinars, any sort of strategy. But if your communication, if what you say and what you write isn't clear and compelling, it doesn't matter what strategy you use. People are going to be confused and they're going to be lost, and they're not going to have the conviction to trust you with the offer. So the next is to work on your communication. Once your energy is resourceful and your communication is clear and effective, then you can add what strategy lights me up most and makes most sense to my audience, right? I'm not going to go on TikTok and run this whole campaign if my audience is CEOs. CEOs who are running teams, running organizations, they're not on TikTok. It doesn't make sense. I'm going to stick to LinkedIn. That's more of a professional platform. It just won't make sense. But I know that if my energy's aligned and resourceful, if my communication's clear and effective, I can choose the strategy that would light me up, that feels in my expansion, and it makes most sense to my ideal client. If I know that, then you can start to brainstorm the strategies that matter most and the strategies that are going to get you furthest. And once again, if you choose a strategy that's different, even if it's subtle, like my focus towards adding more value to the members rather than inviting more people was subtle, but it was the difference, right? It was the difference. If everyone was doing the opposite, if everyone started groups and was just only focusing on adding value to their existing members, I would start inviting everyone. I would just do what's different. I would zig when others zag, just so you are different and stand out. But that's the order of priority: your energy, then your communication, and then the strategy. And many people get that wrong.
And I will add something that you said before. What can you do different than everybody else?
Mm-hmm.
That is a big one. That piece of originality.
Yeah, exactly. And you can do that for any level there. In terms of your energy, how can you be different? What's a resource you can bring that's different from everyone else? Sometimes bringing some playfulness is what allows you to stand out, rather than being strict and serious and grounded. But same with the communication. How many people who start a coaching business and they say, I help women in transition, for example, or I help people go through their biggest challenges so they can be their best selves and live their best life. Like, it's so vague. Everyone says it. It's very nebulous, intangible. But in your communication, what can make your communication different? It can still make it clear and compelling, but what makes it different? And same with the strategy. In terms of your strategy, what's different? What's unique? What can make you special? What can allow you to stand out? If you're creative in that way, it's gonna mean a lot long term.
That's a great tip. You're putting me a lot of work to do right now. As soon as I finish this, how I can find that originality to come across, because probably I was following a lot of the $10,000 of business that I took. It's like, you have to write 5 contents, and this is how you have to do it, and this is how and obviously it's not working. The market have changed.
Yes.
So those 4 implements that if we do, that we have to sit down and do a big meditation with that. So like that we can find that inner voice to how we are gonna do it, not how the class of business.
Yes, you got it.
That's
the only way to do it, I find. And you will grow into the version of you capable of doing that time and time and time again. That's what matters most to me, is my clients at the end of whatever program we do, they become the version of themselves where they can look within, they can meditate, they can access a level of resourcefulness within them, coupled with the business tools to run through that system time and time again. It's not a cookie cutter approach. It's more of a heart-led, soul-led resourcefulness, and then being creative in business with doing things different, with being resourceful, you know, with really being at the forefront of what's at my disposal and how do I use it. How do I stand out? That's really what's going to aid everyone's transformation.
And I believe, and I know you coach people. So if anyone wants to have a coaching call with Tyson, the links are gonna be below. So like that you can contact him directly. And because we all need that help. We all need that help. And things have changed. Things have changed. And we're like us, we're being changing at the same time. But we cannot continue doing the same patterns because they haven't worked before. It's not working anymore. Tyson, it has been really my pleasure to have you in Soul Talk. Do you have something else that you would like to add before we close?
I mean, give some patience to yourself as well. Give yourself some grace. If you're taking on the business journey, or if you're taking on the journey of getting outside your comfort zone with your relationships, with your health, with your lifestyle, with these main areas of life, give yourself some grace. Have some patience. You know, don't be so attached to the outcomes. Just enjoy the journey. I know that's what everyone's heard that before, but it is a subtle reminder that we always need. Just enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey, enjoy the challenges, enjoy becoming the version of you capable of solving those challenges, and your perspective's going to change for the better. If people just remind themselves of that every day, I think that's really where you'll find a lot of benefit.
That is so true. Thank you so much. And again, guys, the links are gonna be below this this interview. And okay, if this help you, thinking someone else it might be helping them. And I highly recommend the Serving Circle to everyone. So search for that group in Facebook, you can find it. Just the Serving Circle. And we're all there. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tyson. Thank you so much for
Thanks,
being.
Monica. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you.